Well, looks kind of deceiving out there. Nice snowy morning. As you see right there, we have the temperature of 0 degrees. Oh, this is gonna suck today. A wise man once told me, once you know how to make money and work hard, you'll never be poor. Well, this is how I make my money. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. As you can see, it's cold this morning. This is the coldest morning we've had so far this year. The last 2 or 3 days it's been fairly cold, but not that much. But I'm gonna show you quick things. But in today's video, we're gonna be getting rid of this. What could that possibly be? You guys are gonna have to stay to the end of the video, but this right here is all of my non-ferrous metal. So we're doing a non-ferrous load to Stanton's today. And I'm gonna be showing you guys the copper prices and the brass prices, which everything is up. And we'll see how much we can get from this little thing. There's not much on there. I thought I actually had more, but we'll get into that. So yeah, guys, what I've been doing is I had a couple air conditioners I picked up last week and a big rooftop one. So I did that, and stuff I picked up here I put on the dump trailer. So I got a load of tin also. A couple water heaters, dryer. There's 3 furnaces in there. A bunch of stuff from the garage we picked up. You hear the snow crunching underneath me. So the dump trailer is ready to go, but we're gonna take that one in today. Now, not sure exactly how heavy this is gonna be, but we'll have to wait and see. But picked up a couple rotors yesterday from the garage. There's another 40 we threw here. Waiting for the price to go up before I could sell them. I don't know. That'll be an upcoming video. I keep saying that, but we're waiting for the price to go up. But GMC started fine even though it was cold. We just went over a little over 20,000 miles. I know I haven't talked about it, but I did show. I put the new tires on. Real fart. Oh, I don't know if you heard that. But got the new tires on. She's pretty good in the snow and everything. Yeah, truck's been good, guys. I'm about due for, I just did an oil change, but I wanted to have the transmission serviced. Called the dealer. They told me that we're probably about till after Christmas, and then I can get my transmission fluid changed, and we'll check that filter and make sure there's no particles in there. But oh, and it's also next week I'll have the truck for a year, even though I didn't drive it much because I was waiting for the gate to get put on it. I only put 200 or 300 miles on in the whole month of December last year. So we put about 20,000 miles on this year. Other than the one O2 sensor wire getting burned, we've had no major issues, nothing to really speak of. A couple random scratches. Don't even know where that one came from. And my daughter said that was broke the other day. I don't know. It looks like I might have hit something, or a rock might have hit it, because it's like punched out. Oh, there's a little stone in there. Look at that. Can you see that? There's a stone in there. So I wonder if a stone flew up and hit because I know I didn't hit nothing. Yeah, so truck's fared good for 1 year. I did put a little dent in the side over there. Joe put a dent here, a nick there, which I touched up with some touch-up paint. And there was another one over here somewhere. A little nick he did. But I did put the first initial one in it, guys. That was the big one here. I had a refrigerator come off the side and the lid swung open and smacked right there. But Joe was here yesterday and we went through this, is what you guys really want to see. We just kind of put this on there because I didn't know if I was getting rid of it tomorrow. Wow, them bungees are so... Look, the bungees have no stretch to them. At 0 degrees, my hands are freezing, by the way. There's no stretch to the bungees. There's no stretch. But this is all of our non-ferrous stuff. Look at all them electric motors. Some ACR ends. Brass. Wire. A bunch of ACRs. More ACRs down here. I thought I had more, but I guess I really didn't. Bunch of batteries, sealed units, full one of sealed units and one not so full. You see that? But yeah, there's not a lot in here. I'm gonna take the cover off and then I'll show you really. All right, so we got a bunch of electric motors. And then in this toter here, guys. Sorry, my hands are freaking freezing. I should have put a pair of gloves on. Is number 2. It's about a little more than half full. As you see, there's one of those square heat exchangers from can't think of it. It's so cold I can't think. My hands are freaking in pain. Indirect water heaters, and there's a bunch of copper tubing and stuff from the air conditioners and coils from indirect water heaters, not heat exchanger. And then there's the shiny stuff, number 1. It's all air conditioning tubing. As you see, it's not really heavy. I would say there's probably about 150 pounds in this, maybe a little over 100 pounds in this one. 120 pounds. There's probably about 180, 190 pounds in that. I didn't weigh them. And then just some buckets of wire, thicker wire. That one's low grade wire. And as you see, there's just not much. Sun's coming up, but ACR ends. I don't want to lose any of these going down the road, but that's what we're cashing in today, boys. Prices are up, so. But now I have another dilemma. I don't remember that being that high. Now I really think about it, how the hell am I hooking that up? I'm gonna have to pick it up with the lift gate. Let's see if I can roll this up. I thought this was up all the way. Oh, now it'll go up. I don't know if it's gonna go up high enough. I may have to back up more. Yeah, I gotta switch this ball. Hold up. Okay, so hands are in pain, but reason why I had this tarped is I was gonna do it on today's Tuesday. I was gonna do it on Thursday and maybe run that in tomorrow or today, the dump trailer. But Wednesday they're calling for 1 to 3 inches of snow, so I'm not driving an hour and a half away to dump that out. In Wilkes-Barre in traffic, I'm not gonna do it. So today's supposed to be cold but nice, so I loaded all this up yesterday and put the tarp on it. So I figured this morning I would run this in, bank some good money, take off tomorrow because it's supposed to snow, just relax and you know, let the snow do its thing, and then Thursday morning get rid of that. So let's check my lights. So that's kind of a plan. The lights are all good. It's kind of the plan. I was kind of hoping I had more here and stuff like that, but it's hard in the winter. I mean, most people aren't getting air conditioners that live up in the north. If you are, you're only getting a couple like me. It's not like it is in the summer. But I got to roll this jack up, and then I'll talk to you guys in the truck. All right, guys, we're driving to the scrapyard. I took my big heavy hoodie off so I could just drive and be comfortable. Adjust my brakes a little bit. Go into tow haul mode. Not like I really need tow haul mode. I don't have much weight on. Oh, check your wiring. Yeah, stupid frickin'. This These GMC trucks do have an issue with the wiring on the trailer. Like the plugs. It always says check wiring. There's nothing wrong with it. I think the system is just too finicky. Sometimes it'll do it, sometimes it won't. I own 3 separate trailers, as you guys know, as you've seen them there in the video. This one, the dump trailer, and I said something to the dealership about it, and they're like, oh, well, you know, it's the trailer. It's a new truck, why would it do that? And I'm like, well, I have a brand new trailer, and it does the same thing as my 7-year-old trailer. So, I have 3 trailers, all of them do it. And if I put any one of those trailers on my other truck, I don't have a problem. It's just this one. So, but that was a whole other little rant. But so if you hear that thing ding, it'll like, the lights will flicker a little bit, and then it'll show me that the trailer is disconnected. But all the lights are still on. Looking in the mirrors, I can see the lights are still on, and I still have trailer brakes. So, but. Yeah, copper prices is what we want to talk about. Copper prices are really good right now. I know some of you guys have been posting on the forums and commenting and saying, oh, well, you know, it's only $3 a pound here. Why are you getting so much more? It goes by geographical area. And, you know, is every scrapyard in your town or in your area or an hour away that price? You know, don't go to what's close and local. I keep saying this. And, you know, if a scrapyard's gonna... Yep, I know. A service brake system, yep. Yeah, I got right on that. Stupid trailer plug. You know, if you only have a bucket and you got 10 pounds of brass in it and 20 pounds of copper in it, you know, it's not worth it for you guys to worry about the prices being that much different. You know, like I have a toter and I got 100-something pounds. And that's only after 2 weeks of the last time I brought, 2 or 3 weeks, I don't, without looking. I think it was like 3 weeks since I brought some in. And I'm in my slow time. So, some scrapyards, some smaller scrapyards, you know, or if there's a lot of competition, they'll keep the prices lower on the non-ferrous side. But somebody will always pay more. You might have to drive a half hour, 45 minutes. Yeah, you're not going to want to go with a bucket of brass and copper and stuff and a sealed unit and 2 or 3 electric motors and, you know, stuff like that. I can understand that. But then again, you could always wait and hold it and wait till you get a trash can full. You know, like those toters are 96 gallons. That's 3 30-something gallon normal garbage cans, like household garbage cans you would have. That's 3 of them. So, because usually they're 36 gallons. So, you know, you do the math. Or 34 or 32 gallon garbage can, I'm sorry. Like those gray Rubbermaid ones are 32 gallons. Some bigger ones are 50. So, yeah, you can't, I mean, if you want to fill one of those with brass, it'd probably take some of you guys that don't do this often, might take you a year. But I filled a 96 gallon toter with brass one time. And, I had it on the porch, and I didn't fill it. I had it about, I don't know, 3/4 full. And me and my wife went to take it off the stairs, and the wheel broke, and it collapsed down the stairs, and I had to separate it into 2 separate cans and everything. It ended up being 900 pounds, and it wasn't even full. Which is about right, because I was getting 450 in a 55-gallon barrel that was only half full, that propane brass, when I was doing that last year. See, last year I was doing that propane brass, so we were in the shop. It was me, Lunchbox, Xander was coming over and helping, and even Sniper's Nightmare, Steve, was coming over and was helping me, you know, strip that stuff apart. And I was making, you know, between $5,000 and $10,000 a week. I don't have that this year to really bank, so I mean, I kind of wish I had all that stuff, considering brass right now I could probably get 50-60 cents more a pound on all that stuff I was bringing in. But that's the name of the game. You know, copper prices when I sold this year, like I said, I sell every 3 to 4 weeks. And in the summer with sealed units and things of that nature. Yeah, I could have made a lot much money if I would have saved it, because somebody in the comment section said, oh, you should have saved all that. You could have cashed it in now at the end of the year. But here's the thing. I'm not independently wealthy. I have bills, and I'm paying guys to help me and stuff. If I had the money to hold all of it and took a chance on it, maybe. But then again, it's 40 cents higher on copper. So if I look back on all the copper, I to make an extra $4 or $5 grand, maybe. I could have lost it too. So it was just easier to keep doing it this way and banking that money and keep moving on and keep the ball rolling for more things, you know, because I'm not paying for any of this copper. I'm not paying for any of this scrap. I have one guy that has a couple rotors a month. I give him a couple bucks for, you know, just to help the guy out. He does mobile mechanic. So he goes around and he does things of that nature, and he always comes out with shocks and struts, and like he had 2 car batteries. Oh man, can we get $10 for these 2 car batteries? Yeah, sure, bro. Don't worry about it. I was like, put them over there. I'll give you $10. You know, just so you can have extra money, because this guy's not working right now. So he does mobile mechanics, so I help him out. But I don't really buy scrap. You know, it's easier to have volume when you're buying scrap. But then again, you know, when you buy scrap metal, like a lot of, not the scrap yards, but like a lot of these guys that buy scrap and things of that nature, copper and stuff, they're like, oh, you know, I made 30 grand this month. But did you? You know, if you spend 20 grand buying material and then sell it and you make 30 grand, did you make 30 grand or did you make 10 grand? Because I don't even think you made 10 grand, because once you add your expenses, running costs, taxes, and employment and fuel and whatever your expenses are for that month, you got to add that in. So you didn't make 10 grand, you made 6 grand or less, or maybe a little bit more. So I just hate people that are clowns like that. You know, they want to tell you the bigger end of the number, but they won't want to tell you what they're actually, or what it actually turns out to be. You know, when scrapyards buy material and metal, sorry, this road is horrendous. When scrapyards and companies buy metal and material, you know, most scrapyards, they don't make the same amount. They don't make the percentage I do. So if I get it for free, I have my time and my money running it over there and whatever help. They are paying everything, and they're even fronting the money out, taking a chance on buying the material. The price could go down and they could get screwed. You know, a smart buyer would always leave themselves some leeway and hedge a price. Say, hey, you know, I could bring you 40,000 pounds this month of copper. And what price you pay me? Oh, you'll pay me this price? Cool. And I'll buy it for this price, so there's a window in between there. But most scrap yards won't tell you this. But on like a pound of copper, where you're like, oh, you know, my scrapyard's paying me $3 a pound. Most likely, that scrapyard that are paying you a lower price like that. Sorry, I put my head where the sun is. They're making usually only maybe 10 to 15% more than they're actually selling it for. So if they're buying it for $3, they might be selling it for $3.30. And $3.30 a pound. So they're taking all that chance and they're buying it from you, shelling all that money out and boxing it up and to make 30 cents a pound. And I would like, I know it's like an industry thing, but I want some people who own scrapyards or who buy scrap, I want them to tell me how much they actually make per pound. You know, cost of buying versus cost of selling. So what the difference is. I don't think it's that much. I mean, I really don't think it is as much as we all seem it to be. Now, us guys being the street scrappers and the guys who, you know, do all this stuff, I know the scrapyards don't make that much. The thing is they make their money on volume. They make money on the 50, 60 people a day that come in and sell stuff. Sorry, this road's even worse than that one. And that's how scrapyards make their money, is on the volume, the quantity. You know, they're not getting 200 pounds of copper in a month. If a scrapyard is only purchasing 200 pounds of scrapyard a month, they'll be bankrupt in no time. Their running costs will be over. They'll be underwater every time. And that's just business 101. Now, these are things that I've learned over the years because I don't know that part of the business side. And I've said this to some of people that, some of the other scrappers that I deal with, and some people who are brokers and stuff like that. I don't know that part of the game. I don't. I know, hey, I know if I clean this up and I run this to a scrapyard and I bring a good quantity to them and I got a good relationship, I can get more money. I learned that a long time ago. But I don't know how they buy it, how they sell it. I really don't know that. I know they hedge prices. I know they, they have places they sell to and everything. But that's not me as a scrapper. I'm a businessman. I'm a scrapper, but I'm a businessman. But I don't know that part of the game of it. And I'm pretty sure. I'm almost 100% sure. Sorry, look at this car. The car's going way too fast. I'm almost 100% sure that scrapyards aren't making. I know they're not making what I'm making, because even with my Sawzall blades and the gas running a load in once a month, even after I process everything, if I could put a cost on how much I'm losing per pound of copper tubing and brass and all that ferrous stuff or non-ferrous stuff, I would almost guarantee that it's costing me less than 5%. It wouldn't 10%. I'm telling you right now, it's not costing me $300 to make $3,000 on that stuff. No way in hell. So it's less than 10%. And I've had some $6,000-$7,000 months, and I know it didn't cost me that much, even with paying. Because a lot of times I do this stuff myself, but with air conditioners, I mean, yeah, I could see when I get a lot of air conditioners and I'm paying guys to help me. Yeah. And my number one cost is my fuel. But I would say at the highest end, maybe 10%. So it's not costing me much to maybe 10 cents on a dollar, if that makes sense. That's what I'm thinking in my head. It's probably 10 cents on every dollar. Because like I just cut up all the copper for them tubing and I used 2 Sawzall blades. Yeah, it took my time, but it took Sawzall blades. 2 Sawzall blades. 2 $1.70 Sawzall blades, or $1.17. Because I buy them in packs of 100. I buy the cheaper ones. I use them for a while and they throw them out. But I only used 2 Sawzall blades, and I think there was 1 or 2 that were already on it that were already used that I started with. So, I mean, yeah, I got to heat the garage and things like that, but I paid Joe yesterday to help me rip the air conditioners apart, but most of the stuff I did by myself. And the batteries, didn't take nothing to get them. The thing that was most expensive was probably the heat in the shed because it's been cold. I don't know. It's one of those things that my expenses in my business overall at the end of the year, even with buying equipment and stuff, it's like anything, you gotta spend money to make money, so. But my normal, like, running expenses, maintenance, Sawzall blades, oil changes on the trucks, fuel, things like that, they're all minuscule. And I think I'm only at 15% cost, which is amazing. So that means at least 85% of everything I make is profit in my pocket. So, and that's even with paying taxes, because the profit is just so high on the margins. And when copper prices go up, it just makes it exponentially better. And I've actually used less labor this year than I did last year, with paying my buddies to give me a hand when I had stuff. I've just been doing more of it myself, and as I get older, it's getting worse and worse and worse. But I picked up 2 more HVAC companies this year, and one of them has been really good at getting me a lot of air conditioners. So I've been falling back on picking up from the normal people, like the normal household ones. People call and pick up a washer and dryer, unless they're people I picked up for, or people that I know. But for the most part, I'm only picking up for my HVAC companies or people who have large quantities. You know, if somebody calls me for a washing machine and it's far away and I don't plan on going by there, I tell them, hey, I might not be your guy. You might have to call just a normal dude, because I'm not going to spend a half hour out of my day to go run down and grab that. If it's on the way, I might grab it. You know, that was just one of the things. I used to run around and pick up anything and anybody that called me, and it was getting to be too much. It's much easier this way. So, I mean, comment down below if you know more about like how scrapyards buy and sell. But I just tell people, just don't get discouraged. You know, somebody will pay you the right price for it. And it goes by geographical area, because I have some people out in the Midwest that are like, oh, I only get $2.50 for copper. Like, that to me, they're selling it. They're not selling. Do you think they're selling it for $3 a pound and shipping it? Hell no. They're just trying to make 50, 60, 80, $1, $1.50 a pound on you. And some smaller mom and pop scrapyards just don't care. If they're the only scrapyard around, you'll just take what they'll give you. And that's fine, because I'll be honest with you, in my area, if I was going to buy copper, I would have to be 30 to 40 cents cheaper than my next competitor that was a half hour away. I would be cheaper because I would get what I get. I know people aren't going to go out of their way to come to me, but the people that are local will always come to you, and that's why a lot of them small scrapyards do that. The peddlers come in, they got a couple cords they cut off a dryer, a vacuum cleaner, they got a couple fittings, and they got a couple pieces of copper wire that they stripped, and that's why they do that. It's the peddlers and the people who have small quantities. That just shows you that they're willing to beat people up on the price a little bit and not get large quantities. Maybe they can't handle it. Maybe they don't have the money to buy it. That's the other thing. I had a whole bunch of copper a few years ago, and I called around to a bunch of scrapyards, and there was one down in Wilkes-Barre I used to go to, between Wilkes-Barre and Pittston, and I went there for a bunch of years. And what happened was, I called them and said, look, man, I had thousands of pounds of each, copper, brass, ACR, and I had my trailer full, aluminum wheel. I had over 100 aluminum wheels stacked on the trailer and in the back of my truck, and batteries. And I told him, I said, listen, I got a lot. I said, you know, what can you shoot me an estimate on what you pay for prices? You know, I said, I know I have over a ton of number 2 copper. Oh, is there brass on it? Nope. I said, I have over a ton of brass too. I said, it's all in containers. I said, you can even take the containers. I don't care. They were in those big totes. I said, as long as you got a forklift to pick them up, get them on a scale, you can keep them. Ship them out, put it in boxes. I don't care what you do. And he told me, he's like, listen, if you have that much, he goes, estimating at our prices, he goes, you have like 25, 30, almost 30 grand in copper and brass and ACR and sealed units alone. And I said, yeah. I said, I'm probably going to be 20 or 30 grand, I figured. I said, it was everything I had for almost a whole year when I wasn't as busy. And what happened was, he told me, he goes, I can't buy that much at once. I said, well, you can't give me a check or anything? And he's like, listen, I don't buy that much in a month. He goes, if I buy that, I wouldn't be able to buy anything else from anybody. He said, even on the non-ferrous side, I couldn't do it. He's like, you would kill me. And I'm like, didn't have 30 grand to buy. Like, to that to me was like, it took me back a little bit. And I'm like, you ain't got 30 grand? Like, I can understand maybe not having the cash, but you could have wrote me a check. I didn't care. And it was a smaller scrapyard, but I had done business with them before. So it was to me, it was very, see, now my lights aren't working on my trailer. To me, it was very, very humbling. Like, he couldn't shell out that much money, because by the time he shelled that money out, he wouldn't be able to buy anything, and he'd have to hurry up and sell that stuff, and maybe he wasn't getting quite as good of a price, or it would take a while to get, like what I'm saying is, by the time he got that stuff ready, packaged up, shipped out, and got a check back from where he sells it, might have been 2 weeks or so. So he was would have tapped him for 2 weeks. He wouldn't be able to buy anything. So in the long run, he was like, yeah, I want to buy it, but so he was like, can you bring me a little bit? So I brought him the aluminum wheels and stuff like that, sealed units, and sold the copper somewhere else. And I was quite pissed off, because I was like, it's already loaded, I'm not unloading it. So that was some of the things I've experienced after 29 years of doing this. But like I said, we're headed to Stanton's, and I know I just ranted for 21 minutes, but it's not a rant. Like, you guys, I did the video, you guys saw me loading everything up, and I got to start talking more in between, like with driving and stuff. But I'm not gonna really show you much filming in there, because I can't. If I had someone to film, it would be different. But I just want it's only 4 degrees now. It's 8:10 in the morning. It's 3 degrees. Sorry, it just went down again. But I'm gonna be cold loading this all up. We're gonna weigh it all up and everything. I will show you the receipt at the end, and you'll see how much money I make off this tiny little load of stuff. I mean, I think it's going to be pretty decent. You know, I'll pay my truck payment, pay my wife's car payment, and make my mortgage payment, which my mortgage payment's already paid. I just want to I'll put this money in the bank to pay upcoming bills and everything. And then, you know, like I said, Thursday I'll make probably $400 or $500 on that load of tin, so it's not a big deal. But remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you guys have any comments or any things about how the business and the other end of that business works, because a lot of us scrap guys don't know that part of the business. We know about picking things up, bringing them to the scrapyard, and getting paid. We don't know that whole back end of that business. That's a whole other thing. And the whole middleman thing, like, I'm number one. I get the scrap. I sell to somebody. He's the middleman. He sells it to somebody else, whether they process it and sell it to someplace else, or they sell it to somebody who processes it, melts it down, refines it, and uses it for a product, or makes it into a product to sell to somebody else. We're just part of the chain. Well, I'm the first part of the chain. I'm not the last. I'm the first. I'm the first part of the chain, because without me delivering it to a scrapyard, they would have no material. And that's not, I'm not saying just me, I'm saying us in general. We're the first line. So there's a whole other back end that we don't know about. And I know I've asked people, and people have asked me. I don't know. And I've asked other guys in the business that have scrapyards and stuff, and they've told me some things. But a lot of it, they keep guarded and they keep to themselves, because they don't want people to actually know what their margins are. Because I think people would be actually shocked on knowing what they actually make per pound. I think that you would be like, how would you like to scrap? How would you like to work all day and get like 30 cents a pound, 40 cents a pound on your copper profit? Have to shell out, you know what I mean? Have to shell out $3 on 1 pound of copper to make 30 cents. Or shell out $4 to make 20 cents. Because I think number 2 is $4.20 a pound, I think, is what I'm going to get today, if the price didn't go down or whatever, because it's been fluctuating. So it'd be interesting. It'd be interesting. We'll see what happens. And you got to remember, they have their running costs too. So maybe it might not be 20 cents. Maybe it's 60 cents they make a pound. But then again, they have to ship. They have the boxes. They got to wait. They have to pay their guys to process it, check me in, load tractor trailers, pay for delivery. I don't know. Did they pay for delivery? Or does the guy buying it pay for delivery? We don't know that. It might cost them $1,000 to ship a load of crap out, which comes off the top end of things. I don't know. I asked the guys, and they're like, you know, sometimes we eat shipping, or I got to pay for shipping. I guess it all depends on who they sell to. I don't know, man. But we'll see what we get paid. Next time you're going to see, I'll do a couple little things at Stanton's. I'll show their business name and everything. They're a good company to deal with. I've been selling to them now this is only my second year of selling to them, and they've been getting almost 95% or 99%, between 99 and 95% of all my non-fairs, except for one of the deals I have that I have to sell to somebody else, which is a whole other thing I've talked about. But all right, guys, is there anything at my stop here? Hold on, I have a stop right here. Nope, nothing there. There's one of the HVAC places right there. They usually pile it by the dumpster, so I go by and I look. It's on my route, so if there's something there on the way home, I'll usually stop. This freaking sun is brutal. But all right, guys. See what we get paid, brother. All right, guys, so we cashed everything in. Clean ACR, we had 348 pounds. That was $2.20 a pound for clean ACR, which was amazing. Car batteries, we got 30 cents a pound. I had a little starter, that little aluminum starter. That was 56 cents. ACR ends, $1. Number 2 wire. That was the thick stuff, like thicker ground cable that I had. So that was $2.80 a pound. Yellow brass, $2.66, which is the highest I've ever gotten. $2.66 a pound is the highest I've ever gotten. Number 2 copper, $4.20 a pound, giggity. For you guys, not me. That's an awesome price. Number 1 copper, $4.30. Jeez. And then we have small electric motors, 40 cents a pound. Sealed units, 30 cents a pound. And a grand total for today was $3,262. Not bad. So all in all, that was a really good trip today to the scrapyard. I ended up bringing in a load of on the dump trailer too. It's pretty late. It's like 3:40. I'm gonna edit this video and everything, but yeah, guys. I think we had a little over 6,000 pounds. A little over 6,000 pounds, if my memory serves me, and it was a little over $500, something like that. Yeah, it was like 60 something hundred pounds. We got a little over $500. So I managed to get that all done, but that's the end of my video. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll keep this thing going with the videos and everything, and the discussions about scrap metal and copper, and how we buy and sell and everything. So I'm exhausted. I've been driving. Yeah, tomorrow's a snow day, so I'm going to relax. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Peace.